what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So if you watch a lot of anime YouTubers, you probably have noticed a pattern to the content that we upload. Usually an anime season starts and we all scramble to pick the best ones or the ones that we think are going to make the most noise for that season. Then we make videos on the ones that actually make noise that season. And when the season's almost done, we tell you about the shows you should have been watching. And for fall season, most people are talking about either Goblin Slayer or that Bunny Girl one. But Bunny Girls don't really do it for me. So I thought I'd talk about the shows that kept me checking my Crunchyroll queue a little bit more than I wish to admit. So let's talk about Zombieland Saga. Because at the beginning of the season, we didn't have much to go on. And even up until the first episode was about to air, we still didn't know what exactly it was gonna be. The trailer was a little cryptic, but you got to see this kooky guy and a bunch of zombies and then also them singing. So you kind of got the sense that it was gonna be zombie idols per chance, but wasn't actually sure. So once the first episode aired, I was literally hooked. And I'll have to admit that zombie idols sound just as unconvincing as a half-naked high schooler dressed in a bunny suit that like no one can see except for the main character. But zombies are my aesthetic, and that's probably why I gravitated towards Zombieland Saga more than any of the other animes that were airing this season. And I'll admit, I thought that the introduction of our main character, Sakura, was going into a little bit more of a love life direction, but then we get literally hit by a truck when Sakura gets killed as soon as she steps out of her front door for school that day. It was so brutal. They did a double instant replay as well as a slow-mo replay. Oh my gosh, that literally took me by surprise. I gasped out loud when I saw that part. Then it goes into this slow-mo of her falling, and then the colors change and this awesome rock song comes on, and I was literally hooked. At that point I was like, this is the fucking best show I've literally ever seen in my life. It could have been shit, it might be shit, but oh my gosh, I was hooked, okay? And the girl's caretaker, Tatsumi, is probably one of the most charismatic characters I've ever seen in an anime recently. As of what I can remember that I've watched. He is so funny and so unique. His personality is something that I haven't seen in anime like recently at all. So to have this main character be so kooky and quirky like really sets the show apart from all the other shows this season. Tatsumi is totally mental, and it's so freaking funny to watch him get all up in these girls' faces, yelling at them. He doesn't even do anything when they have crises. He basically just like lets them roam around on their own and puts like total faith in them, which if you watch the show and you watch what these zombies are doing, like there are so many instances where someone can find out their identity, which is like the thing of the show that like cannot happen. Nobody can find out that they are zombies because one, people would kill them or like try to kill them or like freak out about them being zombies, or that's probably it. It's probably just they need to keep their zombies under wraps. But it's so funny because Tatsumi is literally putting them into the spotlight and making them sing and dance and do commercials, and it's just, I'm gonna explain this in a really roundabout way, but stay with me because you'll get it in the end. You'll get what I'm trying to say in the end. I'm gonna give you a sense of a feeling that this show gives me. Zombieland Saga is kind of like when you're watching, I don't know, like let's say Black Panther, and T'Challa is fighting M'Baku so that he can become king, and everyone is standing around on the waterfall. They're dancing and chanting, and you kind of feel like you're also in it with them, and you're like rooting for T'Challa, and every strike that he takes against M'Baku that pushes him further and further towards being king, you're like, yes, go, yes, that's my king. And then he beats M'Baku and you're like, yeah. And then Okoye, I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, I'm so sorry. In the club in Korea, Okoye literally like snatches her wig off and starts fighting all these bad guys, and you're like, yes, queen, yes, get it. And then Shuri's remote driving this car, weaving in and out and like not getting into any accidents, and Black Panther's catching up with the bad guys, and you're like, yes, yes, yes. And then at the end of Black Panther, Okoye stops the rhino dead in its track, gives a little lick and you're like, yes girl, get it. She makes her lover or whatever bow down to her like a literal queen. And now you feel like you live in Wakanda. You've been through all these hardships with all of your fellow Wakandians and you're like, yes, I live here. Wakanda is real. And in real life you go out and you're like, I just want to greet everyone like this all the time. Wakanda forever. That's kind of how Zombieland Saga is. These girls are struggling to find their identity. One, because a lot of them don't even remember, and two, struggling to make sense of everything that comes with like being a zombie and knowing that you're dead and knowing that you're now alive again, but you can't go back to your old life, because if you go back to your old life, people will find out that you're a zombie and they'll want to kill you or do whatever. And these girls are struggling with their inner selves, and almost they have like a new life to live, and they need to, and they're grasping that as Tatsumi is pushing them further and further into the regional idol circuit, and they're singing songs about their past lives. And literally guys, like, I was crying. I've been crying at Zombieland Saga since the 6th episode. It is so moving, and I never thought that Zombieland Saga would do this to me, because the character designs aren't like extravagant. There's nothing really like super special about the character designs, just obviously besides the fact that they're zombies, but you kind of get attached to them more and more as you go along. And these girls move, I guess they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They are moving me to tears with their songs and their dances, and I love it so much. I love Zombieland Saga. I don't think I have a favorite character. I'm sure there are a ton of people out there that like Tay, but I kind of just like am waiting for her to awaken, and I hope that she awakens by the end of this series, because as of the recording of this video, I think there are only 8 episodes or 9 episodes out right now, so we still have a little bit more to go. But each of these zombies are dealing with their past lives and dealing with the fact that they can't return to them, and it's just so heartwarming because they get over it and they're like, yes, you know what, I am sad about that, but this is my life now and this is what I want to do, and I have been given another chance to become an idol, so this is how I'm gonna live my life now. But let me go tie up my loose strings and then devote myself to these girls and this group, and it's just so heartwarming. I'm crying. And what's not to love about a rap battle, an outdoor concert where they get electrocuted, a fried chicken commercial, and Tay literally biting everyone that she sees? What's not to love about that? Oh my gosh. And then you guys, I overcomes her fear of lightning, because lightning is how she died, and she sings this song up on stage at the Saga Rock Festival, and it's so awesome that she's even getting up there because it's the same festival that she died at, and she's basically overcoming her fear because there's also supposed to be thunder and lightning storms during their performance, and they get electrocuted, but instead of freaking out, she rises above and she finishes the set, and they finish the set all like glowing and like electrified, and they literally steal the show. And oh my gosh, I'm so happy for I don't even know if I can talk about the next anime because there were just so many feels with the Zombieland Saga. So the next anime I want to talk about from this season is SSSS.Gridman. I know that everyone's just talking about Rika's thighs, which are thick for anime, but not for real life. So I don't get it, but you know, whatever. We're not going to talk about Rika's thighs. That is not this video. And you probably already know the basic plot and what the S's stand for, so I'm not going to get into that in this video. I want to talk about the real star of the show, Akane. And I know all of you Rika fans probably just hit the dislike button, but wait 1 second. I'm gonna explain myself, okay? I'm gonna explain myself. It's It's gonna be okay. And then we can be friends, okay? I love Akane so much. Her kaiju collection makes me want to literally vomit. And now that I'm thinking about it, she probably sculpted all of them herself, which means she didn't spend $1 million on her kaiju collection, which is either really freaking sweet because she's super talented and was able to sculpt these like awesome kaijus, or really infuriating because she hasn't spent as much money on her kaiju collection as I have spent on my anime figure collection. Not proud of it. She steals the show in every scene, even if she's being super sweet and innocent and you're in the beginning episodes you don't really know what's going on with her. They just like hint at something a little bit. Sometimes you get a little glimpse of her. She gets kind of overly mad at the teacher when the teacher bumps into her, which it wasn't super subtle, but it did work, and it did make you think like, oh, like what is going on with Akane behind the scenes? Because all we know so far, she's just a super cute like girl that's like semi-popular and like really nice to everyone and kind of like soft-spoken, and like sees Yuta in class and like knows that he doesn't have any lunch and, you know, offers her sandwich to him, and it's just like overly nice. In the next instance, just be super angry that the teacher didn't apologize. I just think that introducing a character like that is super integral to a story, because Rika is definitely a character that you can relate to. She just feels really strongly about her values and sticks to that, whereas Akane, you can't really tell what her values are. They're all over the place because, you know, she's super nice in one instance, and then the next instance she's like, oh, this crazy monster terrorizing the city. And I just think that it's good to have a balance of those types of characters, and I think Gridman does that super well. Her character is a little bit more dimensional than all of the other characters that I feel like are in Gridman. And I'm not saying that I hate every other character except for Akane. I'm just saying that her character gets me interested in the show. Her character makes me like want to find out, like, is she gonna go berserk at the end? Like, is Yuta ever gonna defeat her? Like, will she die? Does she not die because she's a god? Her character is basically just like the gateway into the entire story, and I feel like a lot of people are overlooking that because they're just too busy looking at Rika's thighs, and you should really just pay attention to what Akane's doing because it's literally driving the story. So, I mean, like, not to brag or anything. Best girl. When she's talking to her computer and sculpting kaiju and unleashing all of these crazy kaijus on the city, it's still cute. I still love her for it. I can't hate her. I can't be mad at her. You know, she's just a person. Is she a person? I think she's a god. She is just, you know, living her best life, creating these kaiju and unleashing them on the world. If I could create little tiny monsters to unleash on the world, I probably would. I probably would. Okay, not gonna lie. That sounds like a lot of fun, okay? But I'm getting a little off track here. And it also helps that there are a bunch of people on the team of Gridman and are making that side of the situation and the story interesting, because I know that this is basically an episodic anime. Akane sculpts a kaiju, she unleashes it onto the city, Yuta transforms into Gridman, and Gridman defeats the kaiju so that peace is restored in the city, which can get boring if you don't have characters that are driving subplots in the story. So it's great that we have Akane, it's great that we have Rika, it's also awesome that we have Yuta, because Yuta kind of is like the Switzerland in all of it. He doesn't have any memories prior to becoming Gridman. So we also want to find out if Yuta is ever going to regain his memories, if he's going to remember the super awkward thing that him and Rika went through, apparently, because she looks like she feels a little bit awkward about it. It's a very interesting story. I know that there's source material. We know. It's okay. I get that. I am strictly speaking on the anime here, and the anime is so good. The characters drive the story, even though, you know, you're like, oh, obviously they're gonna defeat a kaiju every episode. It doesn't feel like you're powering through it because you need to watch it because it's the newest thing coming out. It is very entertaining, and it's one of those animes this season that I wasn't really sure I was gonna like because I'm not super into that kind of stuff. Like, I like Godzilla movies and I like episodic things and like people overcoming monsters and, you know, stuff like that, but it's not something that I would pick to watch. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, let's put on Ultraman, let's put on Godzilla, let's put on like Super Sentai, Superhuman, whatever squad. Like those aren't the things that I choose, but I'm glad I chose this one because the story is on point and it's super easy to get invested in these characters. And I know that a lot of people have been saying that the animation of the kaiju's fighting is really clunky and it's really bad animation and they don't like it and it's hard to watch, but I kind of find it adds to the series. It reminds me of watching like old live action Godzilla films or like Ultraman films where the monsters are actually in like rubber or like vinyl suits, and it's like actually kind of clunky because it's hard to move in those suits. So the animation kind of like reflects that, which is totally refreshing and doesn't feel forced. I just realized while I'm talking about each of these anime, both of the main characters have amnesia, which is weirdly coincidental. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. Like this video if you like Rika's thighs, but also like this video if you like Akane's kaiju sculpting skills. I bet you thought I was gonna say boobs. I hope my thoughts weren't super jumbled or confusing. I really like to talk about anime, but I really get bored when people go super in-depth to it. So I kind of want to keep it more casual, you know, like we friends and stuff or something, you know, we friends, you know, let's talk about anime as friends, okay? I like it. I am super excited to see how both of these series turn out. Let me know what series you're watching down below in the comments. Let me know who your favorite zombie idol is. Let me know what your Gridman waifu is. And as always guys, subscribe to my channel for everything anime, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!